Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Well, unfortunately, I had a audio mishap. I'm not sure what happened, but the video was strong, but the audio was weak. So I'm going to try and narrate this as we go along. Today's goal, this weekend's goal, is to get this battery box mounted in here solidly. Last time we talked, I showed you how I cut these panels out and placed some brackets underneath of it to give some structure for these little pucks, these little rubber isolators. And now, let's see, now the idea is that I want to get these pucks lined up correctly where they need to be. And I've made some little lines here where I roughly think they need to go. And I'm going to use this here little tool that I just happen to have a bunch of parts laying around. The outer diameter of this little tool is going to help me line up the front part of these isolators. And the way this works is I just happen to have this 2-inch piece of round stock with a 1-inch hole right through the middle of it. And I happen to have a 1-inch piece of round stock that goes right in the middle. So I just drilled a 1/4-inch hole right through the middle of it, stuck those two together. And now all I have to do is just line the outer diameter of the big tube where I want it and hit the center punch and go ahead and drill and tap the hole. And I think I've talked myself ahead too fast, but and then these are some leftovers from my rear battery box. These are the first generation mounts that I ended up not liking. I used a whole different thing. It looks a whole lot better, but I still had these, so I'm going to use these to probably in the back more so in the front. I'll probably make custom ones in the front, but I'm going to reuse those as mounts for this battery box. During this process, I was levelizing this whole battery box so that it'd be the same level as the rear bed rails. It's what I'm calling level. And I had to raise the back up a little bit. Now this is going to be, we're going to talk about this much later in the video, but I did that. And that way I can get everything sitting flat and level. And yeah, I wanted to have those bumpers as close to that vertical rail, that cross member as I can, because that's where the structure at, and not towards the, I guess, front of that plate that I welded in. And I'm going to add these pieces of 1/4-inch, 2-inch wide flat bar. I'm going to add those to the front of the box there so that the brackets that I make aren't just welding straight up against the 16 gauge of the battery box. They'll weld up against this flat bar, and then the flat bar will weld against the 16 gauge and also tie in with those tubes that run along the top and the bottom. All right, day 2 on getting the front battery box mounted, and I made quite a bit of progress. Left off yesterday, just had these rubber mounts mounted in the truck, but now I've gone ahead and made these little brackets here. This isn't finished, everything's just kind of tacked in place, but this is the idea. I'm going to take a piece of either 1/8 inch or just a piece of 16 gauge to sort of finish off this top part here. So it'll just be an opening, or I might just leave it open. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But either way, I'm going to weld inside here and along the back. And I'll weld on the outside too and grind that down flush so you can't really see it anymore. But same deal over there. And I've started working on the back mount here. And I'll show you how I kind of got that in there. All right, up underneath the Volkswagen here. This is my rear driver's side passenger mount. And I've got it just sort of tacked to the inside of the battery box here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 3/8 flat bar and run it flat up against this structure. This is kind of a suspension structure. And that'll be sort of the back mount for it. And then I'll drop some gussets down from the side and up here in front, try and tie all that in together so it'll be nice and strong when out here in the front as well. But the problem I got here, I don't know if you can make this out, there's this rib, this little stiffener, and it extends all the way down back there. So if I'm gonna use there's my little piece of flat bar, it's gonna end up being right there. Well, I can't put that straight back, and I don't want it to be offset here because then it won't be fully supporting the mount. So I need to make a little cutout for that.
And now you can do that a couple ways. You can make little paper templates or something, but the best way by far is to use one of these little doohickeys. And all it is just a whole bunch of little bitty nails kind of held sort of stiffly in this deal here. So what I did, I just kind of roughly eyeballed the edge of that with the edge of the bumper, and then just sort of smooshed it back against my the curvature that I'm trying to simulate, and that's what I came up with. So I pushed it back against there like that. And then what you do is you take that and you transfer it to your piece right there. And then theoretically, once I cut that out, that's going to just line up smooth and flat against that back member. And then I'll be able to somehow mark where the hole is for this and drill and tap a 10 millimeter hole for what we'll have. There will be a little stud that sticks out of here, and then that'll go into here. It'll be similar to how I did the top mounts. So there you go. That's how that's going to work. Yeah, so that's how I got that in there. Now let's look underneath a bit to show you how it sort of looks in position. So there we go. Kind of in there. I got a little, my little method didn't work particularly good. I had to cut a little bit extra out because it's not exactly straight up and down in that angle, or that contour finder, whatever, doesn't really account for that. So whenever I ground that out to take care, to account for that angle there, I ground it on the wrong side. So I had to grind it back on this side. But then I figured, well, let's see if I can get this bolt drilled and tapped in the right spot. And if I can, then I'll just deal with the gap. And if I can't, then I'll remake this piece anyway. But it turns out that I got it like right on the money. So that's pretty cool. And now, so tomorrow's project is going to be getting that welded in there. I need to grind off that undercoating and then make some little pieces that'll sort of support this on the side. One will come up sort of up that way, and one will go down to the front, and one will go back along that way. Follow that little rounded contour. Use eighth inch steel, 1/8 inch for that. And I think that's going to take care of that pretty nicely. So, and then I'll do the other side too. All right, we'll see you later. Alrighty, got the back mounts in. All just kind of tacked up. They're not exactly even. Not that it matters at all, but you know, it is kind of annoying a little bit. But they came out really good. I think they look great. At the moment, I don't have them boxed in on the sides. I don't know if I should. I think it might be better to leave that open like that, so that water and gook, like that's going to accumulate dirt and mud or whatever over the years. But at least there's a path for it to get out, maybe. Whereas if I box that in, and if anything does get in there, it can't get out. Of course, if I box it in, there won't be a way to get it in. I don't know. I think I'm probably just going to leave that open. I don't think it looks terrible being open, but we'll see after I get it final welded and all that stuff sanded down and see what it turns out looking like. But I'm going to go ahead and throw the box in here again to see how it looks. Stand by. All right, there it is. Super cool. I know it looks a lot like it has looked for the last 6 months or whatever, but it's supported on its own now. And yeah, cool, man. That's really exciting. And we've got clearance all around everywhere. And I need to go ahead and, I think I am going to go ahead and box that in on the top. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably will. But I need to, of course, take this out again and weld everything up for real. It's about 52 pounds and kind of awkward. But yeah, that's the big news down here. Supported on its own. So cool. Yep. Plenty of clearance and all that stuff. There won't be a risk of running into anything with that. That's really cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish all this up, and I'll check back with you. All right, here it is all welded up. I'm going to leave these open for now. I probably will close them in, mostly because these welds look awful. and this is going to be a pretty prominent location. So I'm probably going to close them in down to about halfway or so. I need room to get in there with a wrench to tighten them down. I had to clearance these ones for that purpose, but these are all welded in now. They're looking pretty good. I also filled those in. Those are the little corners I cut out for clearance. And yeah, what else? Back here, got this all welded in, all ground off and looking pretty good. So I guess now, hold on. Right, with that done. And yes, I have stood in it and jumped up and down to make sure it holds, and fortunately it did. So with that all done, I guess the only thing, well, I don't really know what to do next. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I've been wanting to do that for a while. But now I can lower the back off of jack stands and put these up on rollers and kind of scoot this into a more central location, because I still got quite a lot of body work that I need to do, filling in dents, and got that big hole there. But worse than that big hole there is this giant dent with about a 1/4 inch of body filler. Probably goes all the way back here. Who knows? Somebody was an artist with body filler. But yeah, and tried to do a patch repair or something. Who knows what happens here? Kind of nasty, pretty gnarly. But I've got 2 other doors that I can swap out. So yeah, still quite a lot to do. But I'm gonna call this a pretty dang successful weekend. I think I'm gonna close shop for the day. And before we go, I'll show you one little oops. When I was setting this battery box up, I set it up so that this surface here would be level with the bed, and that meant that the back of this had to come up just a little bit. What I forgot about was that I had this barely clearanced as it was. So now my master cylinder hits right there. But fortunately, fortunately, this is just a little web that I can cut that out. I can cut out of that, clearance that pretty good. And then on this side, there's just a little nub. So I think I got lucky with that one, but damn, you can't think of everything. But whew, that could have sucked a lot. I don't even want to think about what I could. Yeah, we're not even going to think about what I would have had to do to fix that. Well, that would have sucked. All right, anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.